Welcome back, everybody. In this video, we're going to start section 3.2, which is all about solving word problems involving percentages. So the first part is just regular, what I would call regular percent problems. In all of these problems, it's important to kind of recognize some important keywords. So when you're working with this topic, often the word of indicates multiplication. Like when you see something like 25% of 100, that's going to mean a multiplication, that word of in there. The is going to tell you basically where the equal sign is. So if you see something like 25% of 60 is 15, then you know the is there is going to be where the equal sign is going to go. And then the what is going to be where we'll translate it as a variable, usually an x or an n or something. So when we say what is 25% of 60, then the what will translate as the x. So in short, when you're given a relationship between three numbers, like is shown in the picture here, 6 times 4 makes 24. And so 6 is 25% of 24. There we have three numbers all kind of interrelated. 6, the 25%, and the 24 are all related. When we say 6 is 25% of 24, that sentence establishes the relationship. So there's three numbers there. This first set of problems and first problem type that we'll consider are problems where we are giving you 2 out of 3 of those numbers and asking you the third one. So for example, here we may want to know what is 25% of 24. We may say 6 is what percent of 24, or 6 is 25% of how much, or 25% of what number. So in the first case, you don't know the part, but you know the percentage and the whole. In the second problem, you know the part and the whole, but not the percentage that relates the two. And then in the last one, you know the part and the percent, but not the whole. So keeping that in mind and then keeping the kind of keywords and how they translate will help us figure out how to solve these sorts of problems. Okay, so let's try. First of all, we want to know, nice pen, we want to know what 15 is what percent of 20. So pretty clearly in here, the percent is unknown. We translate this into an equation as follows. 15 is, that's where my equal sign will go. What percent, I'm going to make that just an x now, and I'll deal with the percent conversion later. 15 is what percent of is multiply 20. Okay, so 15 is equal to x times 20. And then using methods we've used before to solve this, we'll divide both sides by 20. X is 15/20, which is 3/4. And 3/4 is 75%. So 15 is 75% of 20. Okay, next, 2.4 is 25% of what number? In this case, the whole amount is unknown, but we know 2.4 is the part and 25% is, of course, the percentage. So we'll translate 2.4 is, and 25%, I'm going to turn that into 0.25. Of is like multiply, and this time I'm going to use an n to stand for our number. Okay, so then use your favorite method to get this solved for. What is easiest to me actually is to take that 0.25 as a 1/4, so that way I can think, okay, let me just multiply both sides by 4, and so we'll get 9.6 for our n. So 9.6 is our answer. Okay. What number is 50% of 0.6? So here, what number is 50%? I'm going to turn the percent into a decimal pretty much always. What number is 50% of 0.6? So that's half of 0.6, if you like fractions. That's going to be 0.3. Okay, so in the first case, we're missing the percentage. In the second case, we're missing the whole amount. And in the third case, we're missing the part. Okay, a couple more. You may want to pause the video, try this yourself, and then restart the video and see how you did. Okay, for the first one, we have what number is 45% of 80? Okay, so we have 45% times 80, 0.45 times 80. So best way to do this, I'll pick your favorite method. Let me do 45 out of 100 times 80. All right, so here I can divide a 10 out. So this is 45 times 8 over 10. And then another 2, 45 times 4 over 5. And 45 divided by 5 is 9. Okay. 36. Okay. All right, so let me kind of check that for reasonableness real quick. 80 is our whole amount. 50% would have been half. 50% of 80 would be 40. Half of 80 is 40, so 36 seems reasonable. Okay, 65% of 90 is what number? Okay, so this one, it's rephrased a little bit. Instead of starting off with what number, it ends with what number, but that's okay. It works out the same either way. All right, so here we have 0.65 times 90. That's 65% of 90. So let me multiply 65 times 9. 9 times 5 is 45. 9 times 6 is 54 plus 4, 58. Okay, so 585, and then let me work out where the decimal point's going to go. So 0.65 times 90, that's a little over half of 90, so let's go with 58.5. Okay, 65 is a percent of 90 is what number? That's going to be 58.5. Okay, last one. What percent of 35 is 21? So what percent of 35 is 21? So here we're going to divide both sides by 35. So then our n is alone. 21 is 3 times 7. 35 is 5 times 7. That's 3/5, which is the same as 6/10. And that's 0.6 as a decimal. So 60%. 21 is 60% of 35. Okay, here's a couple more just to make sure we're sure. Okay, once again, pause the video, try these, and then restart the video, see how you did. So we're going to have what is 30% of 18. Okay, so here we have 3 times 18 is 54. So that will be 5.4. 45 is what percent of 60? 45 over 60 is our x, and 45 over 60 is 3/4, and so that's going to be 75%. 30 is 50% of what amount? And so that's going to be 60. Make sure for this you're going the right direction and not getting 15 for this. Here, the 30 is the 50%. That's already the part. And so the piece that you want is the whole amount, which has to be bigger. Okay, 20 is what percent of 80? 20 is some percent of 80. So 20 over 80 is our n. And so that's 1/4 or 25%. Okay, so this has been the first kind of set of problems where basically you have the relationship between three numbers, a small part and a whole, and the percentage that relates the two. Typically, we give you 2 of them, and you have to solve for the third one. Okay, so let's try a couple more examples. These ones are more like a story problem. So here it says 18% of Frank's wages are withheld for income tax. We want to find the amount withheld from Frank's wages of $3,680 per month. So it's pretty clear that the 18% is the percentage. We want to know the amount that is withheld, and we're told that that's 18%. So this question is really asking, what is 18% of 3,680? So what is 18% of 3,680? Okay. In the interest of time, let me use a calculator. So it looks like 662.40. Okay. All right, so that sounds about right. Okay, let's try one more. Here it says by Friday, 31 employees had completed the new online sexual harassment training. That's 4% of the company's employees. We want to know how many employees the company has. So in this case, the 31 is the part. So we know the part this time and the percentage, and we want to know the whole amount. The 31 employees, of course, are some of the ones who work for the company. They're the ones who've taken this training. We're not going to do 0.04 times 31 because the 31 is already the part. So the 31 is 4% of the whole amount that we're looking for. So we have 31 divided by 0.04 for our n, and then that will give us 775. Okay. So there are 775 employees. Okay, so there's a couple of story problems. And so that takes us to the end of this first part on percentages. We saw that we can basically translate into an equation and then solve. Okay, in the next part, we're going to work on percentage change. In the meantime, let me know if you have any questions and have a great day.